Hello, successionaires, and welcome to the TV and conference call talk show, The Road to Success. I'm your host, Professor William Murray. The talk show, The Road to Success, is a talk show about any and everything that you want to talk about. Although we always have a main topic, and tonight's topic is Black sports history. It's Black History Month, so y'all all week, all month, we're going to cover specifically Black history. The show, The Road to Success, is sponsored by the Millionaire Mastermind Institute, which is an institute for entrepreneurs and future entrepreneurs. We build millionaire mindsets, lifestyles, and businesses. We take you from idea to implementation and beyond. See, the talk show, The Road to Success, is here to make your life easier and much more manageable, much more knowledgeable. And like I said, this evening's show topic is Black sports history. And as always, the God in me greets and blesses the God in you. Y'all, it's been so beautiful these last couple of days. I mean, it rained almost all day today. Because as a matter of fact, I'm not even sure. I think it's still raining. But you know, it was still a nice day. I went to the gym, had a nice workout today. And I got a chance to hit some tennis balls. First time I've swung my tennis racket in eight months. 8 months since I injured my shoulder. And I still can't move it. You know, like the doctor said, I can't do nothing overhand. You know, and I could tell, oh, no, that ain't going to work. But doing good. Come on, computer. Here you go. We're going to have an interesting show this evening. I'm going to give you a lot of stuff. I've got pages and pages and pages of Black history for you today. So get prepared otherwise get your pencil and your paper, because this evening you are going to definitely need it. I had a young lady call me the other day who told me she was listening to last week's show and went and sit down, had her 8-year-old daughter sit down there with her. And it was something that was very, very, her daughter really enjoyed it. She says her daughter wanted to go back and listen to it again and try to write down some notes. I'm saying, 8 years old, that's great. That is great. My machine, my computer's kind of moving kind of slow today, y'all. So I'm trying to get everything. Come on, there it is. I'm still trying to get everything loaded up, rocking and rolling on it. You know, sometimes it does good, and other times it just has a mind of its own. So we're going to talk about Black sports history. I hope you got your pencil and paper right there, because I'm seriously, I might not have enough time to go through all of these. So what I don't finish today, I'll finish up at the show Tuesday. And Tuesday's going to be a combination show of me finishing up and me giving you more Black history. computer don't want to work today, but I'm all right without it today. Black sports history. The impact of Black athletes across the history of sports is an undeniable one, but also one that has not always been accomplished on equal footing. Of the many highs that have been accomplished, there have been just as many, if not more, that have also had to overcome the rules of the times they were accomplished in. This is a book. This is a look back at many significant firsts, highlights, and noteworthy moments accomplished by Black athletes across the sporting spectrum, as well as the condition that secured their significance. Now, a lot of this I'm going to remember because I'm in my 8th decade. So a lot of this I'm going to remember. I was born in 1950. So a lot of this I'm going to remember. A lot of it was before me too. I'm gonna bring you up to date from back when to almost present day. 1889. The first Black professional soccer player, Arthur Wharton. Technically, William Edward White was the first Black man to play professional baseball in 1879. But he did so little passing as wait a minute. But he did so. However, Walker, who did so outright as an African American playing catcher for the Toledo Blue Stockings in 1884, he faced the intense racial scrutiny of the time. You know, that's right. That's the Civil War. And lasted only one season, becoming the last African American to appear in a Major League Baseball for 63 years. So he played 1 year, and then Blacks were banned from Major League Baseball for 63 years. Damn, that's a long time. I'm trying to get my computer to open up, and it's not doing it. 1889, first Black professional soccer player, Arthur Wharton, born in Jamestown of the Gold Coast in modern-day Ghana. Wharton became the first Black professional soccer player in the English Professional League. Wharton was a goalie and occasional winger, who made 54 overall appearances across 4 professional seasons. In 2003, he was elected to the English Football Hall of Fame as a pioneer. I need a pen. Got one right here. 1889, the first Black professional soccer player, Arthur. Oh, I just read it. I'm sorry. 1908, first Black heavyweight boxing champion, Jacques Johnson, at the peak of the Jim Crow era in America. You know he caught hell. 1908. Emerged as one of the nation's biggest stars in 1908. The Galveston, Texas native beat Tommy Burns to claim the lineal world heavyweight title via a stoppage in the 14th round to become the first African American world heavyweight boxing champion, a title he would carry for the next 8 years. Y'all, they did everything they could do to take that title from him. Everything they could do. They utterly refused. I mean, they even arrested him because he was rebellious. He loved white women just to get at the white man. 1908, first Black Olympic gold medalist, John Taylor. Although George Poage was the first African-American Olympian when he captured 2 bronze medals in St. Louis. 4 years prior, it was Taylor in 1908 who first reached the top of the podium, hailing from Washington, D.C., the son of 2 former slaves. Taylor captured the gold running the 3rd leg of the medley relays covering 400 meters. In the same year, he would complete his degree in veterinary medicine from the University of Pennsylvania. Y'all, as hard as they tried to stop us, they couldn't. (1916) First Black woman to win a major sports title, Lucy Diggs Stowe. In 1917, while a student at Howard University, Diggs Stowe accomplished what would go on to become a milestone in both African American, and female sports as a whole, in winning the American Tennis Association first tournament. She became the first African American woman to win a major sports title. Diggs Stowe is also notable in Black history for being one of the founders of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, the oldest African American sorority in American history. You know, I gave you that the other day in American, in what was it? Black History 2. Oh, wow, it came up. (1920) First Black pro football player, Fitz Pollard and Bobby Marshall. Pollard had a habit of making history throughout the early days of his career. In college, he became the first African-American football player at Brown. Wow. And the first to be named to the Walter Camp All-American team. In 1920, along with Bobby Marshall, he became one of the first 2 African Americans in the NFL. In his second season, Pollard led the Akron Pros to their first championship, and the following season was named the co-head coach, becoming the first African American coach in pro sports history, and was still an active player. Now, see, a lot of these your kids will never, ever hear about. But here's the thing, when they got to do a report, it's always a good thing to do a report on the first person to do something. And I've got pages after pages after pages of first. 1929, first Black sportscaster, Sherman Jocko Maxwell, known mainly by his nickname, Jocko. Maxwell is widely believed to be the first Black sportscaster in history. He began as a 22-year-old at WNJR in New Jersey, and throughout the 1930s, interviewed many of the biggest stars in sports. He also was the public address announcer for the Negro League's Newark Eagles, and would go on to become a prominent scholar in Black baseball. Despite his many accomplishments, there were many times when Maxwell was not paid for his work by white broadcast outlets. 1947, first African-American Major League Baseball player of modern times, Jackie Robinson. Well, you know, they've got movies out there and stories, and no one, now just think about this. Well, let me read this, then I'll give you that history. One of the great trailblazers in American history. Robinson's debut with the Brooklyn Dodgers in April 15th, 1947, broke the long-standing color barrier in professional baseball. While his presence in the game changed everything about American sports permanently, his impact within it produced an additional string of substantial firsts as well. He would become baseball's inaugural winner of the Rookie of the Year award, the first Black All-Star and MVP in 1949, and later the first Black Hall of Fame inductee into the Baseball Hall of Fame in 1962. Now, Jackie Robinson wasn't the best baseball player. Now, he came from the Negro League. He was not the best ball player in the Negro League. Hank Aaron was out there also, and other ball players, but they chose him because they said he'd be able to handle the scrutiny, the racism, and everything that went along with being the first and traveling the country playing baseball. Y'all, he caught hell. I mean, y'all don't know the hell that he got after playing baseball in 1947. 1947, first Black college basketball All-American Don Barksdale. Now, the majority of these y'all never heard of, y'all. I'm going to tell you most of the things I'm giving you, you never heard of these people. Barksdale was no stranger to knocking down barriers in basketball. In 1947, during his only season at UCLA, he became the first African-American named to a college basketball All-American team. The following year, he became the first Black player to compete as an Olympian for the United States in basketball, going undefeated in the process in his second NBA season with the Baltimore Bullets. Barksdale became the first African-American All-Star selection. Y'all, these first, and you're going to find out that we were back there. It's just that we weren't allowed to play. And the best weren't always the one that got the awards. We weren't. First female Black Olympian, Alice Coachman. Coachman was a dominant amateur competitor, winning 10 consecutive national championships in the high jump from 1939 to 1948. She also captured national championships in the 50 and the 100-meter dash, along with the 400-meter relay, while a student at the Tuskegee Institute. At the 1948 Olympics game, she captured the gold in the high jump and became the only American woman to medal at games. It was an overdue honor, as the cancellations of the 1940 and 1940 Olympics due to the World War II caused her to miss a chance at both international competition and a much larger place in history. Hello, Miss Arthur. Glad to see you on, dear. 1950. That was the year I was born, baby. First American NBA player. The integration of professional basketball was simultaneously accomplished by three individuals. In the 1950 NBA draft, Chuck Cooper, Nat Sweetwater Clifton, and Earl Lloyd were all selected and broke into the league in different capacities. Cooper was the first African-American player drafted, going against the first pick in the second round due to the season's schedule. Lloyd was the first to play in a game for the Washington Capitals, while Clifton was the first to sign a contract that season. 1950 again. First black female tennis player, Althea Gibson. Gibson was one of the first women to cross the color barrier in professional sports and became the first black woman to win a Grand Slam title in tennis when she was victorious in the 1956 French Open. Gibson was also the first black woman to be ranked number 1 in the world in 1957. She would go on to capture a title at each of the Grand Slam tournaments for a total of 11 Grand Slam championships overall. She also competed on the LPGA Tour in 1964, becoming the first woman to ever compete professionally in both tennis and golf. She was a heck of an athlete. I've seen that they did movies on her, but I've seen some of her play, because you can go back in the archives and pull up some of the film on her playing. 1956, first Cy Young Award winner, Don Newcomb, on the heels of a 27-win season. Wow. 27-win season that also saw him named National League MVP. Newcomb became the inaugural winner of the awards that has become synonymous with pitching excellence. He would become the first and one of the only 2 pitchers to win Cy Young, MVP, and Rookie of the Year honors in his career 7 years earlier. He became the first African American starting pitcher in a World Series game. And you know, there were places where he couldn't do nothing but go into the ballpark and go on the field and play. (1958), American first National Hockey League player, Willie O'Ray, O-R-E-E, O'Ray. While Art Dorrington was the first black player to sign an NHL contract in 1950, it was O'Ray who first made it to the ice. On January 18, 1958, O'Ray debuted for the Boston Bruins against the Montreal Canadiens, becoming the first black player in the league's history. In his career, O'Ray would play 22 years between the National Hockey League and the minors. I hope y'all got pencil and paper. You got your tape recorders going, because y'all, this is going to be a lot of information. 1960, the first black female to win multiple medals, Wilma Rudolph. At the 1960 Olympic Games, Rudolph became the first woman to capture multiple medals. She individually captured the gold in both the 100 and 200-meter dash, and added a third gold medal as member of the 4x100 relay team. Counting the 1956 games, Rudolph captured 4 overall and retired as the world record holder in all 3 of her gold medal events. 1961, first black Heisman Trophy winner, Ernie Davis. I remember Ernie Davis. Yes, I do. It took 26 years for an African American to lay claim to a Heisman Trophy, and it was Davis who did so, following in the footsteps of the great Jim Brown. Davis was twice selected as a consensus All-American, running for a total of 2,386 yards and 20 touchdowns. Davis was elected first in the 1962 NFL Draft and fourth overall in the 1962 AFL Draft, but was diagnosed with leukemia before playing and died a year later. He was drafted top, but he never got a chance to play not one game because he died from leukemia. Y'all, we've always been the top of the heat when we were given a chance. It's just that they banned us from so much, because we were dominated in any sport that we played, and we dominated in all the sports. First black PGA player, Charlie Sifford. During the segregation era of golf, Sifford won the National Negro Open 4 consecutive times. The National Negro Open 4 consecutive times during the 1950s. Sifford fought his way ahead into a full-fledged PGA competition, including a victory at the 1957 Long Beach Open. In 1961, he finally joined the PGA Tour, and 6 years later captured the 1967 Greater Hartford Open, becoming the first African-American victor in PGA history. 1963, first black driver to win NASCAR event, Wendell Scott. Now, if you remember, Richard Pryor played a movie being Wendell Scott and his story. After competing in local circuits in the Virginia area, Scott gained the NASCAR license in 1953, becoming the first black racer to compete within the promotion. He debuted on the Grand National Series level in 1961 and in 1964 on the Jacksonville 200, becoming the first African American to win a NASCAR's highest level. He led the race for 27 laps, but still had to protest for his win, as the checkered flag was not initially raised to recognize his victory. Otherwise, he crossed the line and he refused to use the checkered flag for his victory, and they gave it to the person that was in second place. First black umpire in 1966 was Emmett Ashford. Inspired by the journey of Jackie Robinson to the majors, Ashford embarked on a lengthy climb towards the major leagues by umpiring throughout the minors for over a decade in the 1950s. In 1966, he finally was called up to the majors, where his charismatic style behind the plate made him a hit with the fans. In 1967, he became the first black umpire to work an all-star game. And in 1970, he earned the same distinction in the World Series, appearing in all 5 games. Can you imagine all the hell that we as a people went through to become the first in all these events and all of these sports? 1966, first professional black head coach. Boy, do I remember that. Oh, man. I remember that, y'all, like it was yesterday, was Bill Russell. Russell didn't limit his dominance to just his own court exploits with the Boston Celtics, where he was the league's first black MVP. in 1958. In 1966, he became the first African-American head coach for a major professional sports team in the modern era. When he became the team's player manager, I remember when he did that. 2 years later, he became the first black man to coach his team to a championship. The most prolific winner in professional history. Now, y'all remember that y'all talking about Michael Jordan and LeBron. Listen to this, y'all. Russell captured the NBA championship in 11 of his 13 seasons. Russell was the NBA's first African-American superstar. He won 11 championships, y'all. Jordan them ain't got, what, 6, 7? He won 11. He was the first superstar. In 1966, he became the first African-American head coach of a major professional sports team in the modern era. When he became player manager of the Boston Celtics, and 2 years later became the first black man to coach his team to a championship. Also known for his indomitable nature, Russell was an activist for equality in his time and refused his Basketball Hall of Fame for 44 years until Chuck Cooper, the first African-American drafted in the NBA, was elected to it. See, y'all don't remember how Russell was right there fighting with Muhammad Ali and Jim Brown for Muhammad Ali. They were out there protesting, meeting, marching with the great Muhammad Ali. First World Series MVP. Bob Gibson, Lord have mercy. Slinging Bob Gibson. During the 1967 World Series, Gibson pitched Game 1, Game 4, and Game 7 for the St. Louis Cardinals against the Boston Red Sox. He was utterly dominant along the way, allowing only 3 runs over 14 hits across 3 complete game victories. He ran up a total of 26 strikeouts against only 5 walks, threw a shutout in Game 4, and even hit a home run in Game 7. All after rallying from a midseason broken leg from a ball hit off of him in July. I remember Bob Gibson, boy. When Bob Gibson stepped on the mound, man, it was just beautiful to see. It was. I mean, see, like I told y'all, I was a teenager, but I remember all of these days. First black tennis Grand Slam winner, Arthur Ashe. In 1968, Ashe was the first African-American male to become the world's top-ranked tennis player. In the same year, he became first African-American man to win a Grand Slam singles title at the U.S. Open. Now, he caught hell. There's a lot of tournaments they wouldn't let him play and wouldn't let him travel outside the country. Hey, nephew, Justin, I see you out there in West Virginia. Arthur Ashe would later gain the same distinction at the Australian Open in 1975 and the Wimbledon in 1975. He remains the only African-American male to hold these distinctions. The distinction of a barrier breaker, Ashe shattered walls as an athlete and activist. He remains the first and only African-American man to win Wimbledon, the U.S. Open, Australian Open in 1968. Ashe became the first black man to be ranked as the world's #1 player when he was denied a visa to play in a tournament in South Africa. Ashe dedicated himself to exposing the injustice of apartheid in the country and was arrested for protesting the treatment of Haitian refugees. After contracting AIDS during heart bypass surgery, he created a foundation for research on the disease. Arthur Ashe Learning Center continues to fund various research to this day. And he has more than one stadium of tennis named after him right today. In 1968, first black quarterback, Marlon Briscoe. While the black quarterback has finally gained some level of deserved normality, the prominence in the game, Briscoe was decades ahead of his time. In 1968, he became the first black player in modern football history to start at quarterback. He did so for the Denver Broncos. Man, I remember that. Because they tried to move him to another position, he refused. Briscoe threw 14 touchdowns over 5 starts on the season and added an additional 3 scores on the ground despite his early success. The 1968 season marked his only as a professional quarterback before being moved to wide receiver. Now you got a top-notch player, but they couldn't accept the fact that he's a black man, and they said no black man would ever lead a white team. So they moved him to wide receiver. I remember that. I remember all the hassle and the fussing and stuff, cussing that went on. And he had no choice. Although he was a much better quarterback than anyone out there. 1970, first NBA MVP sweep, Willis Reed, en route to leading the New York Knicks to the first of 2 consecutive NBA championships. Reed became the first player in league history to win 3 MVPs in one season. Wow. He won All-Star MVP with 21 points and 11 rebounds for the Eastern Conference. He then won regular season MVP after averaging 21 points and 14 rebounds per game and leading the Knicks on an 18-game win streak. Finally, he capped the year with NBA Finals MVP after twice topping 35 points, heroically rallying from a severe thigh injury to finish the series. Hello, Miss King. Glad to see you on. You know, these are Black American first. And to show our abilities, because we made them change a lot of rules in many sports because we dominated. 1972, first black general manager, Wayne Embry, after completing an 11-year Hall of Fame career in the 1960s, Embry turned his attention towards executive leadership. He played a major role in bringing Oscar Robertson to Milwaukee to team with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, which resulted in a title for the Milwaukee Bucks in 1971. Subsequently, he promoted to general manager next season, making him the first African-American to hold a position in pro sports. He later became the first black team president and the COO with the Toronto Raptors. In 1975, the first black Major League Baseball manager. Now, do I remember this? This is one of the biggest to-dos when he became Frank Robinson. Although Buck McNeil became the first black coach in the Major League Baseball history in 1962 with the Chicago Cubs, Robinson took it a step further after a groundbreaking career where he became the first player to be named MVP in both the National and the American League. How you doing, Vincent? Glad to see you on, my brother. Robinson said that his dogged determination on making additional history in the dugout. In 1975, he became the first African-American manager in Major League Baseball history when he took over the helm for the Cleveland Indian. You know, now I know what it is to be the first and the only. Because when I played high school baseball, I was the only black on my team. Well, my junior year, it was two of us. My senior year, I was the one and only black on the team. And a lot of times we traveled, I was the only black out on the field. I never forget when I went to play baseball, my coach told me, Murray, why you out here wasting my time? Never seen me swing a bat, never seen me throw a baseball, and he thinking that I couldn't play baseball. And I never set the bench in 2 years, not one time. I led our school to many victories. I played right field, and if you were on third base and the ball came to right field on me, you would not make it home safely. I had an arm on me that the coaches couldn't understand how I threw the baseball that distance so fast. And I was a speed demon. How many stolen bases did I have? Wow, I had so many, I had so many stolen bases. Yeah, I was a hell of a ball player, but I was the only black on the field in many, many games that we played. 1984, first black Stanley Cup champion, Grant Furr. See, Jenny need to be on now. It might be kin to Jenny. A superstar goalie for the powerhouse Edmonton Oilers of the 1980s. Furr is responsible for a number of notable firsts for blacks in the National Hockey League. Most notable, he became the first black player to have his name engraved on the Stanley Cup in 1984. The first of the 5 times he will win sports' greatest trophy. Furr is also the first black goalie in National Hockey League history. The first black recipient of both the Vezina and the Jennings trophies for excellence in the net. And for the first black inductee to the Hockey Hall of Fame in 2003. 1989, first black NFL head coach. I remember this, boy. Oh, man, do I remember. If y'all only knew the history of Art Shell and what he went through and how they gave him hell when he was signed the head coaching spot. When the Los Angeles Raiders named Shell as the head coach in 1989, he became the first African-American to hold the role in the modern NFL. He was preceded only by Fritz Pollard, who was co-head coach of the Akron Pros in 1921. An 8-time Pro Bowl selection as a player and member of the Pro Football Hall of Fame, Shell was named AFC Coach of the Year in 1990 when he got the Raiders to a 12-4 record and the AFC West Championship. When the Los Angeles Raiders named Shell as their head coach in 1989, he became the first African-American to hold a role in the modern NFL. He was preceded only by Fritz Pollard, who was co-head coach of the Akron Pros in 1921. An 8-time Pro Bowl selection as a player and member of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Shell was named AFC Coach of the Year in 1990 when he got the Raiders to a 12-4 record and AFC West Championship. I remember that, man. Do I remember that? Wow. And he changed the way a lot of coaches coached because of his style, and it was a winning style. He brought a lot of newness to coaching in the NFL. Oh, that cranberry juice is good. First black, 1992. First black manager to win World Series, Cito Gaston. In 1992, Gaston guided the Toronto Blue Jays to their first of 2 consecutive World Series championships. In the process, he became the first African-American manager to ever win a World Series. Between 2 terms of managing the Blue Jays between 1989 and 1997, and again from 2008 to 2020, Gaston won 894 games. Gaston has the rare distinction of winning World Series in every season he reached the postseason in his career. First black golf manager. Whoa, wait a minute. Golf championship. I'm sorry. Hold on. First black manager to win World Series. Oh, see, okay, I told you that. First black golf major champion, Tiger Woods in 1997. Years after contribution of Charlie Sitton and Lee Elder, it was a 20-year-old Woods who finally reached the mountaintop for black golfers. Woods dominated the field at 1997 Masters, shooting at 18 under par for the tournament and winning by a margin of 12 strokes, both setting all-time records. In the process, Woods' first major title was the first by a black golfer in the 63-year history of the tournament and 81-year history of the PGA. It also helped to propel Woods to become the first and only black golfer to ever be ranked number 1 in the world shortly thereafter. Now, for those of you that don't remember and don't know, Tiger is the one that put all this money into golf. He won a tournament, and one of the golfers, white golfers, redneck, said, yeah, he's probably going to go now and eat chicken and greens. And when the white golfers told the white guy to shut up, because if it wasn't for Woods, we wouldn't be making all the money that we make now. Boy, do I remember that. Look that up, y'all. And it's ignorance and they rather hated him for winning when he was making millions for the owners and causing the tournaments to pay millions to the winners of the tournaments. I remember it like it was yesterday. 1997, first black UFC champion, Maurice Smith. Already a world champion kickboxer for multiple international federations, Smith made his way to the Young Ultimate Fighting Championship promotion in 1997. At UFC 14, Smith surprisingly defeated heavyweight champion Mark Coleman via unanimous decision to claim the division title. In the process, Smith became the first striker to ever defeat a wrestler of Coleman's stature in the UFC, further expanding the possibilities of the style clashing yet blending combat style MMA has developed into. 2002, first black owner, Robert Johnson. Everybody, well, y'all know him as Bob Johnson, the owner of BET. Well, who created BET. Although there have been many great black executives and owners in sports history, such as Rube Foster and Effa Manley, it was Johnson who made a massive leap forward in the big money era of professional sports. The founder of BET and the first black billionaire, Johnson bid for and was awarded rights to the expansion Charlotte Bobcats. He was over the team for 8 years as a majority owner before selling to Michael Jordan, the second majority black owner in the NBA, in 2010. Now, I want y'all to look up a name after, although he wasn't in sports. for the first black billionaire. He's the first black billionaire in sports, but the first black billionaire was Robert Johnson. Nope, it wasn't. He's from Baltimore. His book is titled "Why Should White Guys Have All the Fun?" Dang, his name slips my mind. That is one of the best books I have ever read, y'all. Read the book. Why Should White Guys Have All the Fun? Oh, my God. That was one of the, at the end of the book, y'all, I cried. When they wrote that book, I have that book. Why Should White Guys Have All the Fun? That is one hell of a book. 2002, first black WTA tennis #1 ranking, Venus Williams. In February of 2002, Williams ascended to #1 in the Women's Tennis Association, making her the first African-American woman to do so in the Open era since 1968. 8 years later, along with her sister, Serena, she became a part of the black doubles pairing to reach #1 in the world. The duo has won 14 Grand Slam women's doubles titles and remains undefeated in Grand Slam finals together. Let me check something out, y'all, because I got to check something out real quick. What time is it getting to be? Ooh, y'all, it's that time. Lord, it's been a quick hour. Let me stop right there. I'll do one more, y'all. I want to finish up right here. And I'm going to come back. That was a quick hour, y'all. I got so much more to give y'all. Y'all don't even know. I've gotten maybe halfway through the information I got. 2003, first black tennis player to hold all Grand Slam titles. All Grand Slam titles. Serena Williams. Following her victory in the 2003 Australian Open, Williams held all 4 Grand Slam titles in women's tennis, not only in history, but also simultaneously. The feat was dubbed the Serena Slam, and it also completed her rounding out the feat. She defeated her older sister, Venus, to claim the title, but also teamed up with her to win the women's doubles championship at the same tournament. To date, Williams' 23 career individual Grand Slam titles are the most in history in the Open era. Yo, I got so much more. Lord have mercy. I'm just on page 7. And I got how many pages? 13 pages. Y'all, there's no doubt about our superiority when it comes to sports. It's just given the opportunity. Look at any sport, and we dominate. I remember in basketball how because of Wilt Chamberlain, they changed the rules. And they allowed no dunking because Chamberlain was wearing them out. I remember the game when he scored 100 points. Can you imagine scoring 100 points in the game? And they changed the rules. Look how they changed the rule and had to make the courts wider because of the dominance of black people. The dominance. We dominated. There's no doubt. Yo, we got so much pride out there in the sports world. And we just dominated. We just plain old dominated. And right today, we still dominate. Right today. I'm going to pick this up, y'all, next week. And I got more history for you other than sports history next week. next Tuesday, because today is Friday, the 4th of February, Black History Month. My book, y'all, From the Mind of William. Y'all, I'm ordering my second batch because I sold out of my first order of my book. From the Mind of William. This book, From the Mind of William, are affirmations written by Professor Murray. You will learn the positive side of life and how to live it. It will teach you, guide you, and give you a broader way to live and enjoy everything that happens in life. Not to you, but that it all happens for you. You will learn how to be successful in business and life. After reading this book, you will not be the same person that started to read it. Lines are open. Anybody want to say anything to me real quick before we shut down? Lines are open. What y'all think of that history so far I've given you? Lines are open. Somebody out there want to talk to me? Like I told you, most of these people you've never heard of. Most of them you've never heard of. Now I'm getting more into the modern era. Y'all remember most of it because it's the modern era. It's the era that we all remember because I'm up to 2003. Y'all, this is just 2022. I've got other firsts you might not know. That's going to be a good thing and a plus for you to listen to. This has been enjoyable for me. In my research, I learned a lot. Oh, did I learn a lot? And Ms. Sumter, I hope your daughter is enjoying this history and you enjoying this history that I'm giving out. I see my girl Maggie's out there. Vincent, Diana, Justin, Debbie, Ava. I can't see who that is. It's just the initial JT. I don't know who JT. Hello, JT. Belinda. See, a lot of these don't have no names. I didn't put the name beside the numbers. Wow, look at all those people that I got that ain't no names beside the number. Well, like I always tell you, but I gave y'all one good history lesson, and I'm not through yet. Y'all gonna know about the other parts that I got because this is the modern day era. Like I always tell you, if you push me, I'll pull you. If you pull me, I'll push you. Y'all, it's not going to matter if I'm pushing or I'm pulling y'all. We're going to get there together. I'm guaranteeing you, you are going to be a winner. I'm giving you, teaching you the process to success in life and business. I'm available for coaching. I'm available to speak. If you have a podcast or a show, I am available to be a guest. Just call me at the Institute at 240-619-2019. To order my book, go to Cash App, $W Murray. You can also go to PayPal me /MM Institute. You can text me at 931-269-1010. You can email me at TRTS, the road to TRTS.info1@gmail.com. TRTS.info1@gmail.com. Or call us here at the Institute. 240-619-2019. It's Professor William Murray telling you, I love you and ain't nothing you can do about it. Until next time, y'all, God bless, and keep working on your road to success. Until next time, everyone, God bless.